Let's kill it. Let's destroy this.
Let's
destroy this interview. So it took a while, but I'm so happy and excited that we're talking here. A lot of the audience know who you are because you're already a legend, but for the new audience, we need to explain that you started off with striking in Taekwondo, and then while you were training, you saw people grappling. So explain to me, what was that like, feeling like, hey, I'm a striker, but I see these people rolling around on the ground?
Yeah, as a kid, I always kick, jump, like defensive stuff. And then, I come from a small town, and then I always walk in my gym, to train Taekwondo, and then I see those guys kind of doing rolls, doing a grab on the floor. And then I was interested, but I was like, I don't really think this is for me, I didn't, enjoy watching, and then I never try it, even though they're like, man, come on, let's try, So my master in Jiu-Jitsu, in Taekwondo, he was a master in Jiu-Jitsu. He was already a Coral belt back then, so I didn't know why I never took a chance to try, but as of watching, I never like it, so that's why I think I stick with Taekwondo for a long time.
And then when you decided to start, was it instantly, because a lot of white belts, they go the same for me, but were you addicted right away?
Yeah, when I started, to be honest, it was the influence of one of my friends, because, I was growing up and then, building some muscles, have a good physique, very athletic, And then my friend, he was telling me, you should fight, you should fight for live. I'm like, can we fight for live? And then they're like, man, yeah, some people is making money. And then, I'll say, okay, let's see what I have to do. And then he's like, you have to train jiu-jitsu. He actually showed me some Vale Tudo, some MMA videos. And then at first, I was like, I know everybody was interested on Royce Gracie because he was a skinny guy, being the big guys. I was more interested on Victor Belfort, the jack-up guy.
Right.
And then being a jiu-jitsu black belt, but being very good in striking. And then finish people in few seconds, So then my friend told me, but if you want to be good in this MMA, this Vale Tudo thing, you have to learn jiu-jitsu. So that's what, I did, I'm like, okay, so now I'm going to try this. And then at first, I didn't really like it. I was not really good. But I believe that I have a heart, and then I did want to, something deep inside me that was telling me, you have to do it, So I quit everything that I was doing, and then I jump in, and then full force, 100%.
Now, you were very young when you decided to move away from your house. If you could elaborate on how old you were, and I think your dad even told you you'll be back in a week.
Exactly. I was very young, actually. I was just a teenager. I was 15 years old. And then when I decided to make the move, I told my mom, and then she obviously was not very happy. But I think my dad, he was like, let's test him, let him go, and then see what he's capable. When I was about to leave my house, he shook my hands and he said, good luck. And then he looked at my mom, and then, let's see, I think he'll be back in 2 weeks, maybe in a month. When he doesn't have his clothes clean, food on the table, when his money is gone, he'll be back. And then I did want to go back. In maybe less than that. In 3 days, I couldn't find a place to train. I couldn't meet the person that I was supposed to meet. I didn't know nobody, I was pretty much inside an apartment with my sister, live with other people that I didn't know, but I just remember my dad telling me that I was gonna go back in 2 weeks or so, and then I just suck it up, and then I said, no, I think I always have I have a pride, and then I think that's why my dad, he knew with me, and then that's why he told me. I don't think my dad wants me to go back. If he wants me to go back, he probably wouldn't say that. So he knew how to challenge me and then make me stay, even though that he knew it's going to be hard. But I think he also knew that it was going to be the best thing for me.
So deep inside, you're thinking your dad actually was trying to push you to be a man at that point?
Yep, I think so. My dad has the same story. He left his house in a very early age, started to work very early, quit school very early, and then still was able to, raise a good family, and then provide us everything we need.
Now, this is something your wife was kind enough to share with me, and hopefully you can share with the audience. You don't use this as an excuse. And your wife tells me, no, Romulo's out of excuses. He doesn't like to do that. You have nerve damage.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize how, I mean, I have frozen shoulder right now, adhesive capsule. I can barely roll. So since you have nerve damage, you can barely raise it. Maybe you could share what happened with that process.
Well, when I was, I think, 24 years old, or, like 23, I don't know, I was pretty much getting my prime, like building my name. I hurt my shoulder pretty bad,
This is via jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, exactly. I was training, and then I shot for a double leg, and then a big guy sprawl, and then my shoulder popped out, Since that day, my shoulder was never the same, it would pop out during the training, and then got in a point that I couldn't wash my hair, I could not reach on my head, without like a pain. So I looked for a doctor, and then they all told me, oh, you need a surgeon. But it was in the middle of the, of the jiu-jitsu tournaments, I'm like, man, I don't want to do this now, I'm still able to train. So I took some cortisone shots, and then I pushed it through. So I was still able to win the worlds, and then got like a silver in the absolute. But then after that, I'm like, man, I have to, operate the shoulder and then fix it. Because I was still thinking about fight MMA, I was like, okay, now I'm world champion, it's time to jump in, and then, I don't know, I want to be a UFC champion. So I went back to Brazil, and then I did a surgery, I did the open surgery. So after a few weeks that I supposed to start to move my shoulder in the physical therapy, and one day I was laying down, and then my physical therapist told me oh, okay, raise your arm up. And then I'm trying my best, putting all my effort, and then my arm wouldn't move. So she asked me man, come on, you can do it, you're not gonna get hurt. And I said, I can't. So she did some, some exams. She put the tense on my shoulder. I wouldn't feel anything. She would touch it, I wouldn't feel anything. So then they sent me to do a nerve test. And then I did, and then the doctor just told me, yeah, your nerve is pretty much gone, and then I don't think you ever be able to fight again. I don't think you're ever gonna have movement on your arm. So basically that's something that I hear. My wife, Janaína, she was always by my side. She was freaking out, And then because she knew how much I wanted this. And then for me, I never freak out, I just look on the guy, and then I'm like, I think this guy is just crazy. I don't believe what he's saying, And then he looked at me, and then he's like, yeah, but I don't think I felt sorry for myself, I just thought about you know what? It's gonna be one way or another way. If I can't move my shoulder, I'm gonna do it either way. So I'm gonna just tie my shoulder on my belt, and I'm gonna keep doing. I'm not gonna stop to do something that I love because of an arm. And then, but inside me, I believe that I'll find a way. And then I did find a way, So I compete my whole black belt career with
nerve damage.
With nerve damage, with one arm and a half maybe. I have no movement on my right shoulder. I have maybe 20% power, maybe 20% flexibility, Nobody knows I can fake pretty well,
Yeah, because you're a lion on the mats, man. And
I believe,
that case.
I believe jiu-jitsu is something that you adapt, You can adapt, I learned that. And then, my mind, it worked the way that I just need a little bit of my shoulder. I don't need it all, Now, when I look back, and then if I have to go back, and then I wouldn't change anything, This is build who I am today. This is just proof that whatever happened, I can find a way to get back up and then do what I do, It doesn't matter what it is, I have been through so much stuff besides injury, but that taught me so much about don't giving up, don't quit, no matter of the circumstance. If my family is healthy, I can take anything, no problem.
Now, a lot of people don't even know this part. You had to sell a car.
Yep.
It was either physical therapy, sell the vehicle.
I always invest on my career. I was never a big fan of buying stuff, material stuff, I'll make some money, let's buy nice clothes. I didn't really care about clothes, shoes, jewelry. Never did care about this, Every money that I have, I invest in my career to make me better. So when I make my first money, I was already like, I don't know, 24 years old, black belt world champion, and then I'm like, I need a car to drive around. So I bought my car. But then when I got hurt, I was not working, I couldn't compete, I couldn't teach a seminar, I have no way to make money. And then I have to reinvest in my career. So I sold my car, and then I put all the money that I have on my car to my treatments, you know. So I traveled the world to treat my shoulder. I went to different countries, find different doctors, until I find someone that could fix it, or at least get me back in a competition. So, you know, whatever it takes. That's what it was my mindset back then. Whatever it takes to accomplish my goals.
You have to control me. Try to close your guard again. Try to shrink out. The other way, the other way. Now creating space. Close again. Yes. Now you get a better control. Now look, you're controlling my posture. You have a good position. Hand very deep on the collar. So look, my arm is outside. If I'm trying to get this arm inside here, you can use the free arm to push my arm here. Boom. Yes, now climb your leg goes over my shoulder. Nice. Now look, you have a double attack. So if you want to attack me here, you keep this hand on the collar. I just adjust this leg a little higher. Now threat me with the choke here. This hand here threat me with the choke. Because now, I'm not here because you're pulling me. So when I go extend here, arm bar is here too. So look, go the choke.
Do I go like this? Or
You know,
just
from
here?
the choke, like from here,
Okay.
you already here, right? You're doing the attack. And then I'm like, I'm feeling that I'm getting choked. If I stay, you want to close, break my posture, pulling me, right? For the choke. Now, I'm like, if I survive the choke, I'm trying to posture up. From here, just pass your leg over, this one here. And then now look, arm bar is right here.
Okay.
You know? So especially like from the close guard, you have like, when you recover your guard, your hand was so deep on my collar here. You recover from here, I'm in danger here. So what I try to do like palm with my hand inside and then try to posture up. When I do that, boom, pop and climb. Not like see my elbow is outside. Just like my shoulder, just like my elbow, just pass a little bit of your chest line here. And then now you climb. Yes, perfect.
Okay.
So now like I'm gonna try to defend, but now I expose my neck. Now I wanna push back. Boom, armbar.
Okay.
It's like
cool.
one of like a very basic and then an old school double attack from the close guard.
Okay. Can we keep rolling?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
2 minutes?
Let's go.